I would call you the elegant filmmaker.
Would love to always let go, but I am also very anxious nature, so letting go is hard. I do a project, I always see, okay, I should improve this and that for next time. Sometimes I watch movies, I have the feeling it's over-edited, like there's just a lot of shots just so people get not bored by watching it because it goes fast.
These days it's called HD montage, that where you have like cut, and like your mind is going like in circles, like what's going on, like can I please like stay with this one scene.
Specifically about this Banana Crime Chronicle, I was really bored and I thought like, okay, I have bananas and I will try to do like pack shots of bananas and of whatever is there. And then suddenly I thought, oh, maybe I can do other things, and really I did not really think much about it, just, oh, okay, I can do that, it's funny.
I need the bananas and then the apples. Like, hey, come on, the bananas are lonely. Like, we need
like all fruits.
all fruit basket kind of thing. And
Harry Styles, who writes songs about all sorts of fruits, so that can be that
We
can
can do
be
a collab.
like you can like do a music video for him, because he would appreciate Banana Laughing Chronicles. Good morning and welcome to Ambitchiously Intelligent. Thank you for joining us today, for spending your morning with us. We do really appreciate
Yeah, thank you for
taking the time. I'm going to introduce you and I'm going to ask you for a favor. Could you please pronounce your surname? Because I can only do a good job with your name. Hopefully it's Manon, right? What's your surname?
Manon Pichon.
Okay.
So
Beautiful. Manon Pichon. Sorry for butchering it up.
no, it's
And you are director of photography. You worked on a wide range of projects, documentaries, fiction, dance films, music videos, experimental works. Pretty much you covered everything. That's very exciting. We do enjoy speaking with multidisciplinary artists. And we're going to jump right into the conversations. But before, I want to ask our listeners to do us a huge favor and subscribe, because that helps to bring on board new guests and spread those conversations further. So please do subscribe, because nothing but means a lot to us. And I want to ask you, I want to start at the very beginning of your journey. You shared with us that you grew up around films, and mainly your father was the one who kind of you have to blame for that. I'll say thank you for that.
thank you.
Do you remember where there was the first time when you were watching films? Because obviously as kids we do all watch films and adore films. But when it was turned into something more like different to you, what you decided you want to make them, not just watch them. Do you remember that moment?
That's a hard question. I don't know if I remember a specific moment, but I have memories of cinema. I don't remember really the movie. Maybe it was Star Wars and I was very, very small. So
I'm so sorry.
That's often. So I was very little. And I also had an uncle who had a cinema, and it was so I remember also being there and watch all the films, how it's done, and watch the movie, but in the cabin of the projectionist.
That's so cool.
So it was. So I lived in
like a new cinema paradiso. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, a bit like that. So I have those kind of memories. So film has always been there somehow, even though nobody was working in film. It was more either being passionate of it or having something linked to it from far away.
Star Wars. Yeah, that film turned many
I think
people
it was
into filmmakers, I guess.
I think it was that movie, but I don't really remember it much. But I have some memories of it. But I was very young, so.
Good. Okay.
And you did tell us that your father, like, the way he watched films, it was just running in, like, At my home, we did it a little bit. It was just, the TV was just on. Sometimes it was just running in the back. But your father, he watched differently, right?
Yes, he was very passionate about movies, and when he's passionate about something, he learned everything around it, and he had a subscription to Les Cahiers du Cinéma, which is like a really film critic things. So when we were watching a movie and he knew stuff about the movie, he would pause it and say, "Oh, this is the first, I don't know, tracking shot of the history of cinema." And then he will play it again. And so he had he always have all these anecdotes about movies. But if you watch the film a second time, he would pause at the same moment and say the same anecdotes. So it's nice to hear, but sometimes we're like, I want to watch the film without
Commentary.
So, yeah.
So he was really proud of that, it sounds like. He was proud that he knew exactly the shots and that the composition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he likes to just pass knowledge on. So, yeah.
Okay.
So it would be very silent, but if you ask a question about something specific and he knows about it, then it goes on for hours.
So we need him on the podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
Ask him about film. Hey. It sounds like he knows more than all of us.
Yeah.
I don't know, because now for the more modern films, he doesn't really get in touch anymore with it because he's got something else in mind. Now he's more into sports. So,
Okay.
but all the classic movies until the 2000s, he can.
Oh man, that's understandable.
Yeah.
They were made better back in the day.
No, we're making good
I'm
ones.
sorry,
now.
I'm not
Hello.
picking sides.
But yes, of course, the classics are the classics. You then go on to study, which doesn't surprise us, but filmmaking. Yet you studied it in its combined engineering and audiovisual media, right?
Yeah, I think you can say it like this. It was in a university in France, in the north of France, in Valenciennes, for those who know where that is. But I don't think a lot of people knows. But if you know Lille, it's a city in the north of France, then it's half an hour from there. And so it was I did a bachelor and a master's degree, and it was very general. So it was combining more engineering stuff, like we had mathematics, we had physics, we had also a bit of coding things. And we would also learn to use a camera, we would learn about lights, about sound, so editing. So it was combining all of that, which makes... So I think it can be frustrating when you want to do something more creative and more artistic, because you got some knowledge of history of cinema, of how to analyze a movie, but it's not as deep as in a film school, I guess, because I didn't do film school. But because you know all of these technical things that is really hard to learn alone, I think it helps you. And then all those more artistical things you can learn by yourself, I would say. So at first I was a bit frustrated about that, but then I realized it's better that way, I guess, because when I can understand technically why a camera does that, or
So it does help you in a way of like how you approach, or do you feel then that you approach cinematography maybe different than those that studied in film school?
I don't think so, because now it's more instinctive. I don't calculate the angle of blah and blah, I don't do that. But I don't know, actually. I don't know how people approach that in film school. But yeah, I mostly do it in a very instinctive way. It's more a gut feeling, does it feel right to tell the story, to shoot it that way or not? But I think it's more about the equipment, because sometimes if you read about the equipment, it can be very technical and very nerdy. So I can understand what's written. It's not just pushing a button and hopefully it does what I want to do. So I think it's for
And maybe
this way.
that is the, or for me it is at least, if I have a good grip of it and understanding, then I can fully let go and my intuition, can run free because it's not in the way. So it sounds a little bit like because of the base that you have, it's easy, as you said, you just don't push a button and then hope that it works. You know exactly the technical side. And does that apply with you, that you then know, okay, you can just totally let go and allow the intuition and just live in that?
I mean, I would love to always let go, but I am also very anxious nature, so letting go is hard, but I know that we have to let it go of a project. Because, for example, but I guess it's the same for everyone, when I do a project, I always see, okay, I should improve this and that for next time. So it's super hard to say, oh, this is perfect, because nothing is perfect, but so it's about also letting go, as you say. So I say, okay, it's not perfect, but it works. Now he can live his life and be seen by people.
True.
I find that there are also part of the creative freedom into all those imperfections. They kind of form particular style, maybe of film. I mean, not even sometimes, like if an overexposed image can look like interesting creatively. Of course, if you look from it from a perspective of like a technical eye, you would be like, oh God, like this is like, not properly. But creatively, like people can see something, perfect in a way that inspire them and stuff. Well, going forward with this, Jakob and Maria, we spoke recently with your colleague and director of the film, Christian Schesser, and he said that working with you, it was a piece of cake because you're so talented and you knew exactly what to do. And obviously that film was short on like a little budget. So from my understanding, you came up with a very creative solution for the lighting, and also you shot on film, right? So can you tell us?
On part, yeah.
Yeah, can you tell us a bit about like a pre-production and what went on behind the scenes? And yeah.
So thank you, Christian. Yeah, so it was some years ago, so you have to remember. What I remember is that Christian was supposed to shoot with someone else, but then this person got out of the project and there was COVID, so it was a bit a chaotic time. And a part of the film is in Super 8 millimeter, and then the rest is in digital. So it's a mix of both. And I know that at the time you already had buy the film stock, so I couldn't really choose, but we did some tests to know, okay, does it work? How do we expose that? And how do we also scan it? Because we sent it to a first firm who scanned it, and when I saw the image I was like, oh, that's terrible. So when we shot for the movie, we decided to send it somewhere else, but we didn't know until we received the footage if it would be a good idea, and it was much better. So it was a bit of a bet, but it was much better. So reassuring. Yeah, I mean, we met a few times to do a shot list together, and I'm a bit special, like I'm a bit minimalist, so I don't like to overshoot coverage just for the sake of having it, and then in the editing you can do pa. I like to think a bit more of, okay, what's happening in the scene, what kind of emotion we have to make the audience feel, or what's the emotion of a character, how can we show that, and then we just discuss back and forth, okay, maybe this is happening, okay, maybe we can shoot it that way, yes, no, so we just discuss about it for a very long time. And I move around and he move around, like, okay, maybe he goes from there to there and blah blah blah. So we talk about this whole thing, and then I don't know if I'm really answering the question, but and then we had several locations, and we could also film in the museum, in the Natural History Museum, or the history of, or maybe it was the History of Art Museum. I think it's the History of Art Museum, but I guess because of COVID, we also asked like, oh, but can we also shoot in the staircase house, in the staircase? And we're like, oh, please, can we also shoot there? And say, okay, but you only have 1 hour before the opening, because the only room we had was a room for the exhibition. But we don't see really that it's part of a museum, so we're like, oh, we are there, so we have to shoot there. So it was very, very fast. So we had to prepare, like, okay, we do this, we do that, and that's it, because 1 hour goes very fast when you shoot a film, and it's even too fast. So I think it's also because we did the shortlist, then I'm also a very organized person, so I'm like, I know how to organize the shots so we don't lose too much time, but then it's also a question of, okay, maybe it's better for the actor if we do this and that, so we have also to discuss with other departments if, okay, ideally for the camera we should do this, but sometimes it's not working because of, I don't know, the costume or the makeup or production design, we don't know. But yeah, so we try to organize it as best as we could to shoot in the time we had. And for the part shot in film, it was a Super 8 camera. So Christian couldn't really see what I was doing. Nobody could really see what I was doing. So sometimes I was trying to say, okay, I will shoot in that direction. Yeah, well, I could see. I'm the only one who could see. I was like, okay, I'm going to shoot in this direction. Christian, do you think it's okay for you? Like, I guess. So, yeah, and we also tried a few things, because the thing with those Super 8 footage was that it's a character in the movie who's shooting it. So it shouldn't be like too clean, because it's not his job to shoot film. So it had to have its own personality somehow. So it was also interesting in that way. So okay, so I was always asking questions. So yeah, but how is the character? Like, why does he shoot this and that? So I always ask a lot of questions. Like, I need to understand what I shoot to be sure that it makes sense what I'm doing with the images. Like, I'm not really a fan of, oh, okay, shoot this and it needs to look beautiful. Yeah, but what does it mean? Yeah.
What I find interesting is that usually people who do shoot on do you shoot on film regularly, or was it
No, I mean, I would like to do it more, but it was I think the first time and the last time I did not film on that. So.
It's interesting then the logic behind you said you were being minimalistic when you're kind of like shooting, and that approach I usually that approach I usually find that people who are shoot on film, because it's wise to be minimalistic because it costs like a lot. And what's your logic behind it? Why do you don't do extra coverage and you shoot only what's necessary? Sorry.
Sorry. I mean, it can happen that if you're like, oh, I really want this shot, then I do it. But it's like, sometimes when I watch movies, I have the feeling it's over-edited. Like, there's just a lot of shots just so people get not bored by watching it because it goes fast. And I have a feeling for some movie it works because there's a lot of action, so it has to be hectic and blah blah blah. But sometimes I also like when a film is more contemplative and it's more relaxed.
Slow cinema.
Yeah. So it's linked to the feeling, like for me it's linked to what the audience feels or what the character feels. If it's like a very calm moment, like, then why do you edit and shoot like 1,000 shots and then there's a change every 1 second or every 2 seconds? Like, if, I think it's, I say that because I don't really like this kind of editing just so, oh yeah, but the people are getting bored, so we have to have more shots so they are not bored when they watch the movie.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know.
resonates a lot with me because
It's
like
beautiful.
these days it's called ADHD. No disrespect for ADHD people, but it like perfectly sums up ADHD montage, that where you have like cut, and like your mind is going like in circles, like what's going on, like can I please like stay with this one scene, because I don't really, I cannot have this experience with the film. It just does nothing to me. I have the same with this fast kind of cut thing. Yeah, but it's modern cinema what based on. I guess that's because you were growing up on like a different type of movies. Maybe that was
Back
the
to Daddy.
inspiration behind it. Exactly. Yeah.
Back to Daddy. I think it's gorgeous the way you approach it, because you approach it as an actor. This is exactly what actors need to do, is really know and understand why is that character, making that decision, walking over there. There's a reason for everything. And I think it's beautiful that you work that way. And now I fully understand why Christian talked about it, that he had to fully trust you, obviously, because he couldn't see what you were doing, like you said. And he said it was amazing. Like, he was so impressed. Because your camera was then the character. Like, you and the camera, two of you morphed into the character. And I mean, that's pretty cool. And that this is the first time you're shooting on film, that is mind-blowing. But on the other hand, what Valeria was saying, it makes sense because you're so particular. You know exactly like the shots, because you kind of think like a filmmaker in those days. And not like today where like, oh, it's digital, like just shoot as much as we have and then we're safe. And you're like, no. So I'm impressed. I think that's really cool. Do you also edit?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know how to edit. I mean, like I said, at my studies, I learned a bit of everything. So I guess it also helps to know how to edit, because I can also have an understanding of, okay, there is enough footage for this scene, or okay, maybe we miss something. So yeah, I guess it can help to know about that, and I guess also, generally speaking, knowing a bit about each department, then you can also communicate better with other crew members. Say, okay, if there is a technical problem, which happens a lot, you can be more to search for a solution instead of just, okay, I'll let you in your corner because you're the only one knowing and we just wait. Maybe we can search together or try to make it work. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so you come over like this very, how to say it? You have this thing about you that is very elegant. I would call you the elegant filmmaker. There's something about the way you're very particular, you're very clear on what to do, how to do it. You also ask the questions. Like, it feels very like, yes, you definitely have been living cinema since you were tiny. And then I want to go into the Banana Crime Chronicles. which made me laugh so much, because I was looking at your and I could see the humor in even your showreel. Like, and it's like the bored cinematographer making the Banana Crime Chronicle. Yeah. Can you tell us about that? I mean, that is so hilarious.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny what you said, because I don't have the feeling that I know everything. It's just, but yeah, okay. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, maybe I start first with a showreel, because a showreel it's a bit hard to do, because it's basically you just throw shots one after another, and it has to look cool, and that's it. But I think sometimes it doesn't make sense, because shots make sense within a scene and within a story. So it's just putting shots that this, for me, doesn't make sense. The way I guess I approach my work is like just shots that look cool just to sell yourself. So I was thinking, okay, what can I do? Also because I only see like the stuff that I have to improve and like, okay, that's not a perfect shot, but maybe it's not selling me well. So I was like, okay, just rewrite something a bit. I don't know if it's really intelligent, if it's really smart to do that, because then it looks like, oh, okay, she's just like, she's crazy. But at least people remember it, so I guess it's a good marketing thing.
Yes, it's funny.
Because I got talk about, you're the banana person, so yes, I'm a banana person. And specifically about this Banana Crime Chronicle, I was really bored. I didn't really have creative project, and I thought like, okay, I have bananas and I will try to do like pack shot, like commercial shot of bananas and of whatever is there. And then suddenly I thought, oh, maybe I can do other things, and really I did not really think much about it. It's just, oh, okay, I can do that, it's funny. And I did it. The only thing was it had to be quick, because I didn't want to spend days or weeks on it, because I knew I wouldn't finish it. So I think in 2 days it was finished. Like I did the voice of a banana. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you have to watch it to understand why.
Please go, guys. Please go on her webpage. We'll have it in the show notes. You have this. It is just.
I also did the logo of the streaming services. So yeah, and and then it was out. And I thought about maybe doing more of those kind of videos, but I didn't really have much ideas anymore. So
I need the bananas, and then the apples, and then I don't know,
laughing,
oranges. Like, hey, come on, the bananas are lonely. Like when you
like all fruits,
all fruit basket kind of thing, and then they all meet in the basket, and I'm joking. That's not what she was shooting. But can we have apples next? I love apples.
I don't know, maybe.
That is like
I have to find another idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there is like Harry Styles who writes songs about all sorts of fruits, so that can be that
We
can
can do
be
a
like
collab.
you can like do a music video for him, because he would appreciate Banana Laughing Chronicles or Crying Chronicles for sure.
Oh my God, that's where we have to send it. Hey,
Exactly.
Valeria, you're good. Yes.
So my question is, I mean, I called you a multidisciplinary artist. I think that's a correct thing to say, because you work with narrative films, documentary, music videos, dance videos, and that I find like it's very interesting. But I think it's hard. Do you think that your style, the way you shoot and the way you approach the project, depends on the genre, or does it like all the same to you? How like, for example, documentary is very different from a narrative film, right? And also the approach to it shooting wise like is very different, and I guess like technical side as well. How do you approach it? How do you pick those projects even?
How do I pick this project? I mean, it's always the same. It's always like a word of mouth, and I know this and I know that. I think it's more of a project pick me than I pick the project for now, at least. It's different. I think for a documentary, I'd be less picky about the equipment as for a narrative, which is maybe weird, but I think for a documentary it's very about the people and the subject. And what I like about documentary is I always learn something. You always go somewhere you never went, or you probably will never be able to go again. And sometimes you just learn about stuff that you never know existed, and you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So, and I like what I like about documentary is also most of the time the filmmaker behind it, so the director and the production line, they also know a lot because they spend years of researching. So it's never boring to be with someone like that. Like, you always learned a lot, and yeah, so I'm always impressed by questions and stuff. Like we're like, oh, they are well prepared. I like people when they are well prepared. And but for a narrative, yeah, I mean, I also have something that I like is also like I want to be comfortable with the people I work with. So if I feel like, if I have a gut feeling, like I'm like, okay, maybe we are not made to work together. Sometimes it happens, and I think that's also the beauty of it. We are so many wanting to do films, so we don't have to work with everyone. So I have to feel comfortable with the people I'm around. So otherwise I'm like, okay, I don't know, should I breathe or not? So for narrative, I'm more like I have to spend time with the director first, like where to know, okay, how do we work together? How do we do a shot list? And I will always ask a lot of why this, why that, which is a bit annoying because it's like a 5 years old discovering the world. But I think it's important. Like I really have to know, and then it's more a gut feeling and exchanging references and exchanging movies. Most of the time when I read a script, I always take notes like, oh, it reminds me of this movie and this movie and this movie. Or this could be shot like this. Like the first time I read all of this down, and I don't want to already have references from anyone else. I just want to think of it myself first, and then meet with the director and say, okay, this is stuff that I had in mind. What are the stuff that you had in mind? And see, is it more or less in the same, like same feeling, or is it totally different? And if I think if it's totally different, so maybe I'm not the person to shoot it. But if it looks alike, and then let's go and let's try. So yeah. I don't know. Did I answer the question? I don't know. And,
no, you most certainly did. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also for dance, maybe I guess dance is a bit my niche because
Okay.
not so much. I mean, there's dance videos, but not so much as well. I don't know. I mean, it's getting big for now. For the last 10 years, maybe there's more and more, but it's still very specific. And I also learned dance when I was a kid. I still dance now, but I've never been professional dancers. But so I think it also helps for having the sense of rhythm and moving around with the camera. It also helps to dance, I guess. And so that's why I think I have a connection to dance, and also a feeling of where the movement goes. Because sometimes I see videos of people dancing and it's nice, but I don't have a feeling that there is a feeling for the movement or for the dancing part. It's more like, oh, it looks nice, it's a music video and pa 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 pa.
And you want to shout it.
So most of the time most of the dance video I did with a friend of mine, which is called Lisa Magnon, also French. And we also just, there's stuff we already just both of us, and there's stuff we did with more people. But I'm really also there for the rehearsals, for the dance rehearsal with a camera to see, okay, what can we do, what works, what not, and not just on set discovering the dance and be like, oh.
How do I shoot this?
So I guess be prepared is 90% of the work is preparation before the day you shoot. Because on the day you shoot, if you're well prepared, I think even if you're like, okay, the shot list doesn't work, we have to change everything, you already did the thinking of what's happening and why and blah 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 and blah blah blah, so you can, I think, find a solution much quicker, as if you never get prepared and just come and go and be like, okay, let's try this and that, and
Yeah.
hopefully it works. Yeah.
Did you guys watch Olympics?
Olympics? No.
No. So there was this ice skating competition. There was this guy who was shooting like live with like the camera, and he even created like you have to like you in particular have to
You have
watch
to
it,
show
and he
us.
was like following like shadow dancing behind
I
the
think
ice
I've heard
skaters.
of it.
Oh my god, he's unbelievable. And of course, sure enough, he was as a kid he was doing like ice skating, and then he moved into like cinematography and stuff. But that was a pure like I don't know what everyone else was watching. I was watching him like
She was watching the
with
camera guy, just like,
that should be like a separate Olympic discipline. I'm
Oh,
convinced
yes.
because it's wow. That was
Yeah, I think
unbelievable.
I've heard of it now that you say it. I think I've heard of something like the camera person just stealing the...
Still in the show, 100%,
Show,
100%. He made his own like a gimbal type of thing that yeah, unbelievable.
okay, I think we kind of need to put this in the show notes. I want to see it. Oh my God, I want to see it. Because Manu, I was thinking of you when you were talking about the dancing. I kind of, what he was doing, I kind of saw you like that. I totally saw you like dancing, like
You have to
really
watch
like, one could see like, oh, she is a dancer. Like the way you talk about it, the way you, yeah, just explain and the movements and how important, and I could just see you dancing. And when you said that, Valeria, I was like, that is exactly the image I had of Manu in when she's doing music videos or dance videos. So yeah, I love. Is that right? Are you like? Do you have even the shoes on? Or are you like barefoot? Tell me. I want to know.
No, most of the time I've got shoes on, but sometimes I don't have because I shot in a dance video on a studio, and it was a white studio, so we had to remove our shoes, so it's not like everything with...
I knew it, barefoot. I knew it.
Yes.
That's how I saw you in my end.
That sucks.
From now on, you guys, she's gonna be bare. No, I'm joking. This is me creating my own thing here. You're like, no, maybe not. But what excites you most about being behind the camera? Because I mean, you could be director. It's obvious. It's not like you couldn't direct. Which you're behind the camera too, but like really behind, like as in, you know, holding it and being the cinematographer.
I don't think I could direct because I'm not sure I could bring an actor to do the part. I don't know how to say this. So, because for me that's also mostly, I mean, the director does a lot of things, but also he has to be good at, okay, this is the actor and he can do that. I see the potential and pushing the right buttons to have the right emotions. So that's not what I can do. I don't think I can do that. And I mean, there's two things I like. I really enjoy people telling me stories. Like, I even now sometimes I just look on YouTube for people doing anecdote videos, like, and they are just telling things, and I'm like, I enjoy listening to it. I don't know. So I think that's why I'm doing this, and also I just like pictures, I guess. I don't know how to answer the question. I feel a bit like so. Yeah, I don't know.
Because you studied photography, right? You started with that, right? Did you say that?
No, I wanted to be a photographer before doing film. But I started to take pictures when I was, I don't know, 12 or something, and also started to film stuff, but it wasn't really cinematography. I was starting to film parodies with my best friend, so yeah. It's good that it's not online, but yeah. So I started young, but at first it was just like, okay, I tried to do it. I didn't really think of it like specifically what it means and blah and blah. So yeah, I wanted to be a photographer, and then I was like, okay, I think I prefer a moving image, because a photography, I mean, I do sometimes take pictures, but it's more like a hobby. And sometimes I think it's harder, because if you take pictures of, I don't know, like street photography, you just have one shot and this tells the whole story. So it's super hard. Like when you move the camera, it's like, okay, I can at least I have several shots or a movement to show something or to express something. I think it's maybe a bit easier. Um, um, I don't know. I think I just like also that it's both creative, but it's also a bit technical. So you can. It's a perfect job. No. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I want to ask you about something that can be controversial. Is what do you think changed since you entered the industry? And you shared with us privately, as a woman, as a female, what that industry looked for you back then. And do you think anything changed in terms of that? You know, cinematography is still male dominated, and and you find your way around. So obviously.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still at the beginning and a baby in my career, so it's a bit strange. But I think it's funny because maybe it sounds very naive, but I never thought when I started like, oh, there's no women, I cannot manage it. I was like, oh, I want to do this. I'm gonna try to do this. I never really thought, oh, there's only, because that's true. When you look at credits, most of the time it's mostly male and not so much female in the crews. I don't know, on one hand I think it changes because there's a lot of emphasis on that, but that maybe that's also just my own bubble, because on social media and stuff you only see what you want to see somehow, and then it just feeds itself. So, and there is like multiple association of women cinematographers, cinematography, and a lot of that, so which pushes a bit more the women, so there is women. And even in the Oscar, it's a female cinematographer who wins.
She won now, right? For the
She won
Sinners.
for Sinners, exactly.
Oh my God, I was so excited.
So,
Do you know her name? Sorry, because
Autumn something. I just know.
Congratulations, girl. Thank you, woman.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Love it.
So I think there's an effort being in, but sometimes I have a feeling it's just for the politics or for the fundings that, oh, you're a woman, so it will help us having more money because then we have a head of department that is a woman. So sometimes it's a bit like, okay, do you choose me because of my work or because it's good on, it looks good on marketing? That's the part that I don't like much. But yeah, I think it will change, but it's a very, very slow change. And there's still people that are a bit like, oh no, we are men and we are strong men and we want to be with strong men. So
You're like, I'm a strong woman. You just telling you.
yeah.
And I like being with strong men too.
Yeah, I think it's a little. But
How did you enter? How were you able to enter as a cinematographer the world? Because I'm sure there are a lot of women out there that want to, and they maybe are not aware of, or, you know, maybe see more of the blogs or, you know, that what's in their way. But how were you able to enter this beautiful world?
That's a good question. Sometimes I'm feeling that I'm more at the door than really entered.
Okay.
But yeah, because I mean, how did I enter? I mean, it's not gonna be very surprising what I did. Is like, so I arrived in Austria because I did an Erasmus, and then I stayed because of love. That's the classic expat story. And so I didn't know much people. So what I did mostly like, I started with student films. Like they always need some people to doing camera assistant or light assistants, and I started like this, and then I started to add some contacts, and then it's just word of mouth and going a lot to networking events and talking to people, and I think, and then I started to do freelancing, but very, very, I think I didn't think it through very well, because I started to do freelancing, but I didn't have really clients or stuff. Like I was like, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it, because I cannot find a job, so I do it like this. and then slowly it worked. But I must say I'm not only doing cinematography, sometimes I'm doing videography work for money. Like I film events, I film stage performances. So it's not like if I was only shooting narrative and documentary as a cinematographer, I would be very happy, but it's not how it works. Like, and I think that's something sometimes people need to hear, because also when I discuss with my colleagues, just a lot of people are having a part-time job or something. Like it's very hard to only do that. There's not so many people that only do that. Like we are a lot of people, and there's not so much we can do sometimes. So we have to have something on the side. And my on the side thing is doing videography. So it's okay as a freelance. I'm flexible. So I started doing some videos, and then through those student film which I get some contact from, and then through networking you get some contact, and then I just try to go regularly and at some point to create connection with some people. And I think for me it's more important to I don't have to be friends with everyone. Of course it's just impossible, but it's just like, okay, I have a feeling like I like this person. I think if we want to work on a project together, then I would be happy to. And then at some point some people think of you, and then we're like, oh, let's try this. Most of the time you first try something where there's not a big budget, just to get a feeling, or a small thing, like, okay, does it work or not? And then they think of you for bigger things. But I like to have to think more like, okay, am I comfortable with this person, more than, oh, this person is very big name and I have to know this person and blah and blah, because I think most of the time if they are already making millions, I mean, nobody is making millions in Australia, I don't think so, but if they are super big, most of the time I don't think they would think of me, because I'm no one really. So they would think of someone they already know. So I don't know if it answers the question. I have a feeling I'm very confusing with my...
No, I think it's very clear. What you're saying is exactly what I need to learn, I needed to learn, and I'm getting better at, is networking, going out there, being visible. And that's what you did. And then finding your peers, finding those that you want to work with. Don't chase, something that is, okay, I'll never get that. Start with people that you really want to create with. Start with those that you feel good around, and where you know that you can be your best because you feel safe. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Not that we all just want to be safe. Of course not. We're always pushing us, because every film, every project, there's always something where you're like, okay, I can do it. I'm going to do it. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it too. But I do think that's a beautiful advice, is like, go out there and network, connect, find your people. So I think it's beautiful. I really think, yeah.
And what's then the hope for the future? What are, you want to do? Maybe a specific project, work on something? Or maybe something there is already in the works.
Yeah.
What you can share with us.
What I can share. I'm prepping a feature film, so I hope it will be a good one. Just that. I'm not saying much, just that. I also really love everything that is very handcrafting, like all the stop motion, claymation, all this kind of stuff. So I would really love to work on something like that, or with puppetry, or like I did a small part contribution on a documentary, which was called, I need to check the name, Johnny and Me, and it was about Johannes Hertzfeld. It was someone doing graphics, but in the 30s, and he did like stuff World War II, let's say. And a part of it was in stop motion, but it was like a paper cut.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a bit of technical for the animation. So, but I would love really to do like an entire film with stop motion or claymation. That would be very something that I would like to. And I always like to try a different thing. So anything I haven't done, I'm always excited about. Yeah.
Cool. Wow,
And,
I love that. That makes me excited, and you just gave me an idea.
Okay.
You just gave me an idea. I'll talk to you about that. I'm gonna call you because I have this thing in my head. I'm like,
That's nice. That's nice.
this could be something interesting. We'll see. Maybe not. You never know. That's also the
Yes.
thing. It's like just reaching out to each other and seeing, and if it resonates with the other, and we kind of can start bouncing off each other. Wonderful. If not, it's okay. Then that's it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's always a bit hard when you're freelancing a freelancer to say no to a project, or say okay, or even if it's not a paid project, to say to someone like, okay, I think it's not working. It's always a bit hard because you have a feeling you're the worst person in the world. But I think it's much better to say it, and it serves the person in front of you better, because then you're like, okay, I know that it's not for me, and then they will find someone who's perfect with it. So
That's right.
it shouldn't be scary. It is scary, but it shouldn't be.
It can be so scary to say no, but you're right. Saying no is opening possibilities for yourself that something comes in, and also for the other human being. That's something beautiful then, or better fitted, or you know what I mean, that they really get what they wanted. So I think it's beautiful that you say that. And yes, it's not easy, but very important. So this has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Like it
Well,
was
thank you.
amazing diving into your world. It was very exciting, and to just hear and you talk about how you work and how you have carved your path. Even if you're just at the doorstep, it feels like you're in there, but I understand. we always have something to aspire, and that's important. So this was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Yeah. It was a nice talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.